President Bola Tinubu has ordered a full investigation into that explosion. The president extended his condolences to the families of those who lost their lives and directed authorities to prioritize medical care for the injured. He also instructed security agencies to strengthen traffic controls at Abuja's entry and exit points to prevent similar incidents. Similarly, First Lady Oluremi Tinubu commiserated with the victims. She urged truck owners to ensure their vehicles are roadworthy to avert future tragedies.
All right, let's bring in Public Education Officer at the Federal Road Safety Corps, Ogungbemide. Thank you for joining us on Newsnight. You know, in almost 27 years of doing this, I've never felt so touched, and not that there haven't been so many tragedies over the years that you have to report, but this is, I mean, it just leaves you speechless because it's totally avoidable. It's totally avoidable. That's what makes it even more painful. And I mean, where do you even start to unpack this from? Now, let me start with what the standard procedure is ordinarily when a pursuit is happening. Like we hear that it was a VIO pursuit and the driver did not stop. When that happens, what is the standard? What is expected of an official, whether it's FRSC or VIO? What do you do in that situation? Do you stop the pursuit? Because that pursuit is what has led to this, avoidable tragedy that we've seen.
Thank you very much. It's quite pathetic and annoying at the same time. Annoying in the sense that this could have been avoided outrightly. I just got the vivid account of what happened. That's prior to the exact crash from that eyewitness. And it became more disturbing that this led to this devastating incident that happened. In Federal Road Safety Corps, we got to a point from experience where we stopped pursuing vehicles, because we realized that it will always lead to more devastating situation. I was not there to actually know what transpired between the VIO and the vehicle, so I wouldn't want to lay much on that. But at the same time, we should think of the man that refused to stop. The law has been put in place, and that is the major problem we have in this part of the world, where people believe they can go against what the rule says. So for FRSC, when we try or when we come across with castrant drivers, the rule, the mandate given to our men is the best you can do, get closer to that vehicle and get all the details. That's the vehicle registration. It's an indication that if we are not getting you today, we can get you another time. Because we know we've lost so many of our staff, we've lost so many innocent individuals in the past due to when we were having this kind of operation, and we've grown over the time to know that technology can play a major role. We have a robust database that you can only run, you can't hide forever, and that's what we have been operating.
Fantastic. We are told that another accident happened today at the same spot or in the same area. What exactly is going on their axis? Because lots of tragedies and accidents have been recurring there. Some are even suggesting this is beyond natural to supernatural. What is the problem with that axis? That
was the same scenario that we're experiencing at Otedola when I became the sector commander a few years back. And there was this jinx that Otedola had some demons. So I had to take my team down to that place to see whether we could really have access to those demons. But eventually I realized that there's no demon anywhere. It's the misuse of the road that leads to the problem that we're always encountering. If you look at the topography of Otedola, it's almost the same that we're having here. The terrain, where you have a slope, leading to the bridge. And that is the same thing that is playing, and that is the same reason why the authority of FCT actually came up with this idea of during the peak period, we don't want to see articulated vehicles, because over years they've been recording crashes along that particular route, especially when it was single lane. Now we have the express or dual carriageway that will have assisted better. So I think the major problem that we have here is lack of discipline by the road users. You were having a heavy load carrying cement. You were taking a high speed on a slopey terrain. Eventually, by the time he made up his mind to mash his brake, I'm sure his gas-powered braking system, the thing failed to respond. He lost control, and that's why we have this. So when you have a situation where you are not sure of what the road is, the control is.
You mentioned peak period.
Yes.
There was a time in Abuja, I believe it was called the truck timing restriction policy, where articulated trucks were restricted to a particular time.
Yes.
And you said road users are not obeying it. What is the FRSC doing to ensure that they stick to the rules?
You just had what the account given by this man. We don't have a barrier that would resist these people from moving at that particular time. And the presence of men stopping a recalcitrant, unwilling driver becomes a problem. He said the VIO were trying to stop him. Yeah. In Lagos, what we had, because I'm sure from experience, Lagos were having some same problem. They had to put a barrier where the categories of vehicles that they want to pass can only pass. Others will be forced to stop. And that is where I think we're going to have a review of what this policy is and do the one that is friendly for the categories of vehicles that we want to apply that
Now,
route.
speaking of a review, I mean, in January, following, a countless number of tanker crashes, yes, the president set up a committee to look,
exactly,
to investigate, these tanker crashes. Has there been any investigation so far? Has the committee even been set up? Now again, today, from the president, we're hearing he's, given the orders that an investigation should happen.
Yes,
are those investigations ongoing, and what are you finding out?
The one we had recently, Mr. President gave the mandate to Federal Safety Court to investigate. We have done, and it's been submitted. So, when investigation is done and the report is submitted, it's for the government to take the appropriate action. And I also know that part of the recommendation has been playing out. We have another technical committee that has been set up, which have started working. And part of the recommendation is the need for training and retraining of these drivers. Because we got to realize that the proficiency level... Is
it just the training or retraining? Sorry, I have to butt in
yes,
here. Or the real elephant in the room is that there are better and more sustainable ways of transporting, these kinds of materials, petrol, gas, and what have you.
Why you are very right. Why you are very right.
Yes.
Why you are very right.
Is that part of the recommendation?
The natural place of habitation of this type of items happen to, we know, like the fuel now is supposed to have passed through the pipeline. Yes. And then maybe some of these dry cargoes ought to have gone through the rail, but we know they are at present now, the way things are now, those are long-term situation. We're talking of this short-term situation that will stop people from dying, pending the time government will be able to.
So what are those recommendations?
These are what I just intend to put up. Training and retraining of these drivers, because most of these drivers are the major cause. The man that refused to stop, this same terrain that it caused this problem on, so many other vehicles must have passed this same terrain without getting involved in a crash. That one is one. The other one is the discipline of enforcement at the loading point. He said the brake failed. If he's being checked at that loading point and they know that the vehicle has fault, he will not have been allowed to be on the highway. And that's what FRSC has put in place in what we call the safe to load. But we know, by virtue of the circumventing nature of some of the Nigerians, they take the right vehicle to load, they come out and transload and move and proceed. And these are the 40 vehicles we see on the highway. And I can tell you 30% of the apprehensions that we record on daily basis are these articulated vehicles. Transportation sector is very dynamic and is huge. You can imagine the number of tankers and articulated vehicles you encounter on daily basis on our way. So FRSC and other agencies are doing much. The federal government has intervened, but we know that naturally and gradually we'll be able to get to where we're going.
We only hope so. And thank you for the work you do. Segun Ogungbemide is the Public Education Officer of the Federal Road Safety Corps. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.